So you've scanned all your printed photos into digital. Well done. That is a huge job. But now what? Scanning feels like progress, and it is. You can see the piles disappearing, tick something big off your list, and finally breathe a sigh of relief. In this video, I'm going to show you why scanning alone isn't enough, what actually needs to happen after scanning, and how to organize your scanned photos in a way that makes them usable, findable, and searchable, without turning it into an overwhelming project. Oh, and stick around to the end, because there is one simple mistake that causes most scanning projects to stall, and I'll show you how to avoid it. What really happens after scanning? What usually happens next is all those newly scanned photos get dumped into one big folder. The files have random scanner-generated names. There's no clear order. The dates are often wrong. In many cases, every photo ends up with the date it was scanned, not the date the photo was actually taken. So even though everything technically exists on your computer, it's not actually usable in any meaningful way. All that's really happening is that the mess has moved from a physical format to a digital one. What organizing after scanning actually means. Organizing after scanning doesn't mean doing something complicated or perfect. It's about doing a few key things in the right order that turn your pile of scanned files into something you can actually use. Step 1. Put everything in one place. The very first step is choosing one place where all your scanned photos live. This is more important than dates, folders, or names. If your scans are spread across multiple folders, drives, or even devices, everything feels harder than it needs to be. Bringing them together into one clear location instantly reduces friction and gives you a single place to work from. That one place might be an external hard drive or a cloud service, depending on how you prefer to work. What matters is that it's intentional, easy to access, and big enough to hold everything comfortably. And just as importantly, make sure the location is fully backed up before you go any further. Step 2, fix the dates, even roughly. Once everything's in place, the next thing is to tackle the dates. Most scanned photos end up with the date they were scanned, not the date the photo was actually taken. This is why everything looks wrong when you try and browse your collection. Photos from the 1960s suddenly appear next to last week's pictures. This is where a bit of detective work often comes in. You might find yourself looking at clothing styles, hairstyles, cars, locations, or even who appears in the photo to work out a rough time period. Sometimes it's as simple as knowing whether something was before or after a move, a marriage, or when a particular family member was born. The good news is that you don't need exact dates for every photo. Getting images into roughly the right year, decade, or time period is usually more than enough to make them usable and browsable. To make this manageable, there are tools that let you adjust dates in batches rather than one by one. On a Mac, tools like a Better Finder Attributes can help with bulk changes. And for more advanced work, the EXIF tool is incredibly powerful. These tools let you set consistent dates across groups of photos once you've worked out the time frame. Check out my other videos on these amazing tools to get the full lowdown of how to use them. The key thing to remember is that rough is good enough. This step is about order, not perfection. If you're listening to this and thinking fixing dates and getting structure in place sounds great, but my digital photos are already a complete mess, you are not alone. This is exactly what I help with inside my Photo Mess Success courses. They're focused specifically on digital photo sorting and take you step by step through getting your photos organized properly, building a structure that works for you, and reducing the overwhelm that stops most people from ever finishing. If you want clear guidance, a proven process, and support while you work through it at your own pace, you can find all the details at photomesssuccess.co.uk. Right, Now let's move on to how to use those dates to actually sort your photos in a way that makes sense. Step 3, sort by time, not by events. Once you've got dates in place, even roughly, the next step is to actually use them. At this point, you're sorting by time, not events, people, or stories. That might mean grouping photos into folders like the 1970s, 1980s as broad ranges, or you might have specific years like 1971, 1972, or if you know even more detail, you could go down to a monthly level, but usually that's about as far as I would go. Sorting by time gives you a natural structure that works across your entire collection. It avoids the constant decision-making that comes with trying to choose between folders like holiday, family, school, or celebrations, especially when the same photo could fit into several categories. Time is neutral. This approach also keeps your options open. You can always add albums, tags, or stories later if you want to. Step 4. Rename files to make them understandable. Most scanners give files meaningless names, which makes everything harder to recognize later. Using simple names that include a date or a short description makes a big difference when you're browsing or searching. The key here is batch renaming. And you want tools that let you rename large groups of photos based on the folder structure you've just created. On a Mac, a Better Find a Rename is a great option. And on Windows, Bulk Rename Utility does the same job. I talk about these tools in more detail in other videos, so if you want a step-by-step guidance, definitely check those out. And if you want help choosing the best naming format for your photos, then check out this little video up here. The goal here isn't perfection, it's clarity. You want file names that help you recognize what something is without turning renaming into another project that stops you moving forward. Bonus tip, don't mix organizing with storytelling. And don't forget that bonus tip. One of the biggest reasons people get stuck after scanning is that they start telling the story too early. They open a photo, remember the moment, think about who should have a copy, or start wondering where it should be shared. Before they realize it, they're deep in memories. And the organizing has quietly stopped. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a completely natural reaction. These photos matter, but when you're organizing, your job isn't to relive the memories yet. Your job is structure, dates, rough order, decide where things live. That's it. Storytelling, reminiscing, and sharing come later. They're actually much more enjoyable once your photos are organized and easy to find. So scanning is just the first step. Organizing is what makes all that effort worth it. And if you want to continue your photo organizing journey, check out this little video next, where I'll show you how to share your photos like a pro without stress or confusion. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more photo organizing tips. Have fun rediscovering your memories. I'll see you in my next video.